Hey everybody, I am back with another video, and this time I wanted to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac's reunion. Um, Needless to say, I'm going to get into all things Monique in a minute, but let's go ahead and talk about the fashions and how the women look. How do you guys think everybody looked? I think that Monique looked good. I think Karen looked good. I did not like Ashley's dress. Giselle, Giselle's always a hit or miss for me. I don't always like the way Giselle dresses, but I don't hate this look on her. I did not like Robin's dress. I think Wendy looks great in this color. It's a beautiful color on her skin. And I like Candace's hair. I really do. I don't care for the big ass bow on the front of the dress, but I think her hair was beautiful. But last night, people did not give a damn about the fashions. That was not what people came to see. They wanted to see the women come together and, of course, talk about this past season. Now, as you guys know, most of the season was centered around the incident with Monique and Candace. And I have to wonder, honestly, if that had not happened, what on earth would this season have been about? Because they really, to me, in a sense, spent way too much time on this incident. It basically defined the entire season. And if it would have been boring nonetheless. And it almost, to me, killed the season because it was overkill. It was way too much. But let me just tell you this. Monique, pretty much ostracized from the other women and kind of separated from the other women closer to the end of the season, did not come to play games with these girls. Okay, she did not come to play games. Monique came in. She came in. She came ready to read a bitch. Okay, and a bitch she read down. Okay, and we're going to get into that in a minute. So, it was a little bit of back and forth about, different stuff like that. And what's funny about it is how Monique and Karen kind of tag team here. It was kind of like a little Michael Jordan, Pippen, she came with Scottie Pippen, that is Karen, set the screen, and you had Michael Jordan just kind of like, that was the alley-oop, it was done, right? And that's kind of how I felt they set it up. So Monique decided to read from the book of Monique, chapter 2, verse 7, when it came to Gizelle. All right, she brought the organized book of receipts, and people love to talk about, you ain't got receipts, and you ain't got receipts. Monique had receipts. Now, this cracked me up so much, I had to watch it again last night, just because I was just like cracking up at Gizelle. So basically, I believe that Monique had this energy for Gizelle because Gizelle was one of the main people after the whole incident, acting like she was so afraid of Monique and that she had to walk around with security, and she was just doing a lot, which was insane to me because at the beginning of the season, they started off fine, right? They started off fine, but it obviously didn't go that way. And I think a lot of this had to do with what Gizelle had put out in the ether about Monique. Now, I saw a lot of people upset with the fact that Monique decided to do this, and I'll get into that in a moment. But let's get into what she did. So Monique decided to pull Giselle's card when it came to Pastor Roman Spirit, Pastor Holy Whore. All right, Pastor Praising Dick. She decided to pull her card when it came to Jamal Bryant. And she's like, is he here? Is your man here? You don't never seem to bring nobody. Is he here? And that just kind of like shut her down. But then she came with the receipts about the fact that Pastor Holy Whore was out here laying it low and spreading it wide, right? You got all these babies out here. Even her father said so. Gizelle tried to act like her father was over exaggerating and stuff like that, but I do not believe that Daddy was over exaggerating when it came to Jamal Bryant. Okay, I think that he was spot on. Old people ain't out here lying like that, and I think that Gizelle was trying to save face. So Monique came with the receipts saying that he had been texting this woman, and this woman was another pastor too. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but she was in the ministry. You know, just all kinds of debauchery and madness and shit going on. But nonetheless, this is what got me. When when Monique opened that book and she reading through it, and she say, the phone number is this his phone number? Area code 410 beep 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 beep. And Gizelle's face said it all. She just couldn't. She could not lie. She knew that Monique had her and that she couldn't lie in that moment. And that was everything to me. I cackled so hard at that shit. And I saw a lot of people online saying what Monique did was classless. It was lowbrow. You know, why would she do that? Why would she, stoop to her level and shit like that? And I'm here to say this. Gizelle has done it for several seasons now. She has reveled, marveled, entertained gossip and bullshit for several seasons. Are we going to sit here and act like Gizelle did not wear a whole shirt to mock Karen's tax problems? Are we going to act like Gizelle has not involved herself in all kinds of bullshit over several seasons about the other girls? The truth of the matter is, Gizelle ain't never liked Monique Forholmes. All right. She ain't never liked Monique Forholmes Samuels. She ain't never liked her. The green-eyed bandit really was the green-eyed bandit. She walked in, the minute Monique walked in on the scene, Gizelle was stank about it. She was stank about it. Now, to be fair, Gizelle did not start the rumor about Monique and her husband, Chris, not possibly being the father of her last son. It was a trainer. She didn't start that. Actually, it was Monique's former friend. But Gizelle didn't mind carrying around. She didn't mind. Now, Sharice wasn't here to get dragged, right? She ain't on the show no more. But Gizelle did not mind carrying that bone to everybody that would listen. Everybody that would lend her a listening ear, she did not mind carrying that bone around. So she got what she was campaigning for, as far as I'm concerned. I'm a little concerned about what she gonna bring to Candace, but I was more than entertained by this whole thing like that, because what she did in that moment is she rendered Gizelle speechless, and it's hard to get Gizelle not to say anything. That's why I said, like the girls, like I said, Karen set the screen. Karen started it. Karen kind of set it up, and I'm certain that these women sat here and they talked about how they was going to do this, right? Karen was going to set the screen. She was going to set up the scenario and kind of like bring the whole Jamal Bryant, like, he's not here, what did Jamal? And then Monique was going to come in with the big book of receipts, okay? And that she did, and it made for good entertainment, if nothing else. So, what do you guys think about this whole thing? Like I said, a lot of people are online saying that it was tacky and it was classless for Monique to do this, and that they expected more of her and they expected her to rise above that. But I'm sorry, if you out here pushing the narrative that my child is not my husband's, I don't have to hold back. I have nothing for you. They have been trying to get Monique off the show ever since the incident, right? They have been trying to push her out, and they figured that they could push her out with this incident between her and Candace. But they didn't understand that she came prepared. Now, Robin's ass, you see, Robin was trying. She was trying to like get in there. but then Robin looked like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, because, once Monique pulled out the receipt book, Robin was like, shit, let me back up because I don't know if, that book looked a little organized and a little thick and I don't want her pulling shit out about Juan. So let me shut the entire fuck up. And she did that. She just kind of sat there. She sat there. But just to see Gizelle rendered silent was everything in that moment. And I hope she understands that she out here making a complete fool about herself with this whole Jamal thing. I've been inclined to believe that it's never been real. I've been inclined to believe that Gizelle brought Jamal on this show for a storyline. I don't want to truly believe that they are back together. After what he did, she would be insane, in my opinion, to take him back. Her own kids. Matter of fact, folks was online, on Twitter last night, saying that it was the girls that actually sent Monique the receipts, and I cackled. They said that they said it was Giselle's daughters that put that whole thing together and sent it to Monique, and that was everything. That was funny as hell to me. But I just don't want to believe that Gizelle really, really, really want Jamal back. And after all of this shit is coming out, New Birth, what y'all doing about this situation? Now, of course, it's a rumor. It is a rumor. But how y'all got this dude over y'all? How is he the sitting here with the whole congregation with this kind of shit out here? The way it sounded, there's a fairly new baby out here that was supposedly born while they were supposedly together, right? Remember, we didn't even know that they were together until people spotted them on that Chappelle comedy special. And that's when rumors started flying that they were back together. So, Gizelle, what's really going on? Is this really a relationship? Why are you with this man with this Roman spirit? You yourself put out shit about him. Didn't Gizelle write a book or something, or put something out about him? Because that was her storyline getting into the door when she was first introduced on The Real Housewives of Potomac. This was her storyline, that she was with a dirty dick man, right? Now let's get into Wendy. I think Wendy looked, a lot of people didn't like her look. I thought she looked beautiful last night, but let me get on Wendy's ass for a minute. So Wendy was talking about the 4 degrees and everything, and Ashley brought up, you're always kind of throwing it in other people's face and stuff like that. And to me, Wendy didn't have a comeback. She attempted to have a comeback, but she didn't. And here's the thing, Wendy, you do come off classist and elitist in that regard. And I also understand her whole thing about, the cultural difference here and how Nigerians view education. I'll give her that. I absolutely will give her that. But the problem here, Wendy, is what you and your 4 degrees should know. You seem so obtuse to it, that there is a difference between how Americans or Black Americans have been regarded when it comes to this country and our access to education and things like that, and immigrants. It's a difference. You would think that you would know that with all your degrees, that there is a difference. So ain't nobody sitting here, sweating you in your 4 degrees. And furthermore, I don't think that she could spray me if that's not what I wanted. And what I mean by that, she's very obnoxious when it comes to talking about her 4 degrees. But the truth of the matter is, you can't hurt my feelings if I didn't want what you got. For instance, if you become a doctor, and I actually wanted to become a doctor, but maybe I failed out of medical school or something like that, I might feel a type of way if you out here throwing around your MD. But if that's not what I wanted in my life, then you can't spray me. Your 4 degrees don't mean shit to me, right? If I wanted to become a lawyer and you became a lawyer, then you can't spray me with that because we're both lawyers. But if I didn't want to be a lawyer and you became a lawyer, you talking about your Juris Doctorate don't mean shit to me. They're just 4 pieces of paper in my eyes because that's not what I wanted. So you would think that Wendy would know better. And another thing she mentioned was the whole colorism aspect of it. I felt like that was a conversation that was valid, and she had a point. But the problem is that it was rendered useless in this panel of women. And let me explain why. Do I think colorism exists in that group of women? Absolutely. The problem that Wendy faced, and I think that for Candace as well, and I ain't really talked about Candace, is that Candace, while you could sit here and say, yeah, people use words like aggressive and stuff like that towards darker skinned women. That's true. That was all valid. The problem is, Candace, is that you use very anti-black rhetoric, ghetto, hood rat. So while I would be able to take the argument of colorism, the issue is, sweetheart, is that you use very anti-black rhetoric on the same very women. Okay, you used it on Monique. I'm sure a whole lot of times to your white husband. So it just kind of rendered useless in that regard. It just kind of that whole argument just kind of gets thrown out because you yourself participate in anti-black rhetoric. But yeah, and so that's just something that I was thinking about. And I kind of want to end with this because there's several parts to this reunion. Let me go back to Wendy for a second. I remember hearing a story about Kofi Annan. Remember, he was like the head of the UN. And I remember that the article that I read said that he walked into a barbershop, I believe it was like the 60s or the 70s, here in America. And the white guy said, hey, we don't serve ends, right? And Kofi Annan said something along the lines of, I'm not an end, I'm African. And the man ended up serving him. So I say that conversation to say that he used the fact that he used his accent. The minute that accent came out, he used the fact that he was different than us. That's why Wendy bothers me, because she cannot be that obtuse to understand that there is a difference between Black Americans and African immigrants. She has to know that, right? And I had to just kind of throw that story in there for Wendy. I wanted to like Wendy, but she does come off elitist, and that's hard to do in a group of elitist ass women like this. But the first part was good. I'm just wondering what's going to happen in the next part. I'm definitely excited to see what's going to happen in the next part. But how do y'all feel about what Monique did and how she came with the receipt book? That was everything to me. But like I said, some people see it different. They think that she was being really lowbrow and classless in that moment. But I don't see it like that. I just think that Gizelle was campaigning for it, and she got what she was campaigning for several years now. She got it. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen in the next episode. Let me know what you guys thought about this whole reunion. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care, y'all.